You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows everything I need. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. The scars are just the afterglow of living on a fuse. This night, she shines like diamonds. Cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taken. Like the more that she break me, the more I'd like to take.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. I being the Music Man, I'm Norman, and my partner right next to me, the infamous, the well-known, the handsome, the
wait
business stud of studs, Darren.
Infamous is not a good reference.
Well, it is in our world. It's a good reference. It's good.
How are you, Music Man, this week?
I'm good.
You having a good week?
It was extended weekend.
Did you have a nice 4th of July?
Hot.
Hot. It was a hot weekend. I had a lot of fun.
A lot of burgers, a lot of sausage.
A lot of burgers, a lot of sausage, a lot of good family and fun and everything else. Swimming,
grandkids,
and all that
fun You don't
stuff.
have grandkids.
No, I don't have grandkids. No, I did not. Not yet.
Your day will come.
My day will come. I have a lot of great nieces and nephews, though. So
what's great about them?
They're my nieces and nephews' kids. So
that makes them
I don't
pretty
have
good.
So my brothers are grandparents. So
We
I got
want
to
to give
enjoy
a
their kids.
We want to give a shout out to something special, right?
Oh yeah, today was actually a very special day in downtown Manhattan.
Certainly was.
I hope you didn't have to be down there today unless you wanted to be, because they had a parade through the Canyon of Heroines. They changed it to Heroines today.
This is the first I've heard about heroines, because they did say the can of heroes.
Right, it used to be
on
the
the
Canyon.
news.
Right, they say Canyon of Heroes.
I didn't hear them say heroines.
No,
today.
they said Canyon of Heroines on this, and
Let's give it up for the
let's
U.S.
give it up,
women's
women's
soccer
soccer team. Now, a little tidbit
Okay,
that you are not aware of.
I am not.
I know our producer Jim is aware of it because he follows this stuff, but our own John from Hazlitt provided the confetti for the ticker tape parade.
It was his company.
It was his company that did that. So
that's
John,
good. That is a big shout.
great
Hey, John.
yeah, John. Jim and I were watching your little interview on Channel 4 before the show, and we were kind of giggling.
Was he on the fan also?
Well, you know, he made it out like it was all his idea, and he's doing a good thing. His boss was doing a good thing.
Oh, it's not his company.
It's
a
not
company
his
he works
company.
for.
No, it's
I got
where he
it.
works. So
All
you know,
right.
he's just.
I was going to compliment John just now.
No, but John's in charge of all of that stuff, and
You in charge of picking it up too?
I don't know. That's a good question. Hey, John, you want to call in tonight? Let us know if you got to pick this
But
stuff
be
up
nice
or
when
not.
you call in, because
Yeah.
we have somebody very special here this evening, and
who's
if he
gonna
doesn't
protect
like the
us
way
from
you
you.
sound, you'll get a letter in the mail.
Right, and he's gonna protect us from guys like you, John.
That's right. Who'll get us into
Well,
trouble
we
sometimes.
have a good guest tonight.
Great guest.
We have an attorney here,
Back for the third time.
back for the third time. Okay. And tonight he's going to make some topics that we're going to discuss that
That
you
are
need to be on, but he's going to make them crystal clear for us.
And very important.
Right.
And he happens to be an attorney, and his name is Alan
Alan
Krystal
Krystal.
from the law office of Alan Krystal.
Yep.
Is it LLC?
Nope, it's Alan Krystal PC.
PC.
See, this is
Okay.
right up there.
Well, welcome.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Alan. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Great. Thank you both for having me back. Always enjoyable to be here.
Yeah, we have a lot
As
of
long
fun
as you
this
keep
show.
on paying the increases, you can keep on
Increases.
coming back.
Wait a second, there's increases?
Oh, I didn't.
Jim, did you know there
I
was
slipped.
increases?
Did you know anything about
What's
that?
going
Good.
on?
Maybe if I didn't say it. Anyway, you are an attorney. You've been an attorney for what, 20 years, 25 years or something?
Actually, May was 36 years.
36 years?
Wow.
God bless you. What the
God
heck
bless you.
made you
Look
want to
good.
be an attorney?
I went to, I think what happened in my situation, I was in college and I got about halfway through college and I had to really think about what I wanted to do with my life. And one of the courses in college that we had, what we needed to do was we argued a Supreme Court case.
So let back up just a hair.
Sure.
So you finished school, you went to college. When you first went to college, you didn't declare a major?
I declared a major.
Okay, what major did you
Well,
declare?
first I was an accounting major.
Okay.
And when I got a D plus in accounting, I thought maybe I
Not
should
for me.
rethink my major. I took communications and political science, and
All right.
I excelled in that, but I didn't know where that was leading job-wise.
Mhm.
So when I took this course, where part of the requirement was we had to brief and argue a Supreme Court case, I really got into the process. I got into the process of researching.
Mhm.
I got into the process of arguing. And
Oh, you argue very well.
Thank you. And I got hooked. And I said, okay, let me try applying to law school. And I did, and the rest is history.
The rest
But when
is
you were
history.
really young and you were playing basketball or baseball during the summertime, did you want to be an attorney back then, or what do you want it to be, an accountant?
I never wanted
Duh.
to be an accountant. I think the accountant, a relative had said, well, that's a good field to get a job. I really did not have an aptitude to be an accountant, and academics confirm that. But, you go through, I think you go through everything. You think about, you want to go into law enforcement, you think about writing. I was very much interested in journalism, but when I was at that point in college, the desire to become an attorney, that's really where
That's
I
really
got.
where you wanted to go.
I wanted to be an attorney when I was younger. I was thinking, but then I had to go to school, and I don't want to go to school, so I wasn't an attorney. I would have been one hell of an attorney without a degree.
Well, you do have that law school thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's kind of tricky, right?
I just wanted to
Into
be
that.
an attorney. Once I put a shingle out, and I'm an attorney.
I didn't like being in law school. I like being an attorney better than being a law student.
So what kind of attorney are you?
A good one, I hope. But no. But to answer your question
I hope so, too.
seriously, I do business law. I do outsource corporate counsel services for various businesses. On the business side, I do everything from creating the business, helping with drawing up contracts, drawing up leases, buying and selling of businesses. I also am involved in employment issues. I do defense of discrimination and wage and hour cases. And I also do.
So let's just back up,
Sure.
right?
He's into backing up.
Yeah, I'm the backer upper, right? Norm likes to go off the rails. I like to back up.
Definitely off the rails.
So for those of our viewers who don't know what some of this stuff is that you're talking about, okay? You said defense of discrimination. What does that mean? Okay, you're going to defend discrimination. How? You're working for the employee or you're working for the employer?
Well, I have been on both sides.
Okay.
And I do both sides of that. On the employer side, you'll have a situation where an employee is terminated, and that employee will allege that the reason that I was terminated wasn't because of my job performance or it wasn't because of misconduct. It was because of something about me, either my age or my sex or my sexual preference, or whether or not I had some type of illness or a disability. So that's really what discrimination refers to, because in employment law, New York is, like many other states, an employment at will state. So absent a contract, employers could fire employees for any reason whatsoever.
Now, you say that, but is that true? Because you hear all of these things, right? As soon as somebody gets fired, they're suing the employer for either discrimination or something like that to try to get some kind of settlement. So is it really an employment at will state? Because we're like, it seems like we're tied up by all these laws.
If you are a terminated employee or you have some type of adverse employment decision, it could also be not getting a job or not getting a promotion. In that type of situation, you still have to, in order to be able to prove your case, that you were targeted because of what's called a suspect classification, and those the categories I mentioned: age, race, sex, things like that. So you really have to, in order to be able to prevail legally, show that that discrimination exists. Now, in the real world, you're going to have people who were terminated and maybe they really weren't the victim of discrimination, and that's why those cases aren't really, those are not very easy cases to prove. You really have a burden of proof. You have to show that there was really a pattern of discrimination. You have to show that something was said that was clearly discriminatory in nature. So it's not a very easy evidentiary burden.
Question.
As I turn his volume down.
As you turn my volume down.
Go ahead.
I fill out an application online, whatever, and it says, do you have any disabilities? And they list a whole bunch of disabilities. Some of them have diabetes, some of them don't, some of them have this, some of them don't, yada, yada. If I had diabetes and I don't check off that I have diabetes and I get the job and I have some sort of a diabetic attack, what happens?
Well, again, I think you have a very interesting question here, because first of all, why is that question even in the application? Is it really relevant to the nature of the job?
In every application it is, though.
But not necessarily, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is you can't ask those things unless it's specific to your performance in being able to carry the job out.
Precisely, correct? Darren. That's why I asked the question. So, I mean, if you answered, let's put it this way. If you were applying for, let's say, a sedentary desk job, a question like that would be very sketchy and very suspect, because there's no reasonable relationship.
But these applications are general. So if you go on Indeed and you apply to a job and that company asks you to fill out an application and you're going to get to this section that says disabilities, do you have any of the following disabilities? And almost on every single one of them, there is that column. And it has a whole list of different types of disabilities, and they ask you to check it off. Now, if you don't check it off, there's one box that says none, and then you can proceed to the next page. If you don't check that off, you cannot proceed. So you have to either check off none, or you got to check off something that you have.
Right.
Is that to protect them?
Yeah, but I'm still stuck on the first point, which is why
Check it.
that question is there.
Because I think in New York, because I'm an accountant, as you know, every time I've run into something like that, you couldn't ask birthday, you couldn't ask certain things.
I mean,
until
there's a
they
date
bought
of
it.
birth.
You can't even ask.
There's a date of birth.
Well, you're not supposed to ask that stuff.
You can't
until
ask salary
after,
anymore. That's
after-
illegal.
No,
Really? You can't. You shouldn't be asking date of birth. You shouldn't even
No,
be
the
asking
date of-
about what date you graduated school.
They
Right.
ask,
You shouldn't
they
be.
ask
I
that.
mean, things like
because that can be construed as
exactly
discrimination.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
I can look at a
agree.
resume and say, "Oh, this guy was born in 1945. He's too old."
right.
Right? Just by looking at that. Or do I want a kid that was born in 1995?
Well, they ask you when you
Unfortunately-
graduated college.
Okay, but unfortunately, a lot of these applications are not really legal. I mean, in
Right.
terms of what they ask. But you're right, Darren. They shouldn't be asking about age. They shouldn't be asking your height. They shouldn't be asking your weight. They shouldn't.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't ask you even about your marital status
Or your credit.
or your credit, or if you have kids or not. Because
What does my credit have to do with being an attorney or doing an accountant or being a salesperson or
that-
whatever?
that's-
again, but let's
Again,
put
it
it this
depends
way.
on the job.
I mean, if Darren is applying for a job as a CFO and he's handling millions upon millions of dollars,
Does that mean
that-
he's going to be a thief?
but it could be relevant.
that could be
It could be
relevant.
relevant. It
That could be
You
absolutely
can look
could be
at it that
relevant,
way if you
know.
choose.
Yeah.
And not to get off the track with the application process, you got to be very careful about asking about criminal history. You can't ask about whether or not you've been arrested, because you could be arrested, but not necessarily convicted.
Absolutely.
And you really can't, and really you can't ask about convictions unless it's something that pertains to a very narrow category of crimes. For example, if somebody's applying for a job and you do a background check, and let's say they have a marijuana conviction, that's not necessarily relevant to what they're doing unless it's a recent conviction, unless they have a job handling heavy equipment.
That could be the
Right.
conviction happened when they were
Right.
16.
Right. But conversely, if you have somebody who's convicted for for some type of fraud or credit card fraud, and you're handling other people's financial information, that's extremely relevant.
Before we continue, let us give you the phone number to call in and ask Mr. Krystal or Alan a question. If you have a legal question and Alan is here, he'd be happy to answer it for you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. The number is 631-415-1365.
You got to clear your throat there.
That's 631-415-1365.
There you go.
There you go.
We got to get you a cough button too.
Yeah.
One of the things
Need a
I noticed
bottle
is
of
that
water.
you usually cough.
This place is getting cheaper. Water here and nothing.
We're
Okay.
supposed to bring our own one.
Yeah, well.
Well, with the increases, you should be able to cover that.
What increase? Oh, you mean Alan's increase?
No, Alan's increase. But look, one thing I do want to mention. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about that stuff. But before we take our break, I want to talk about our friend Brian, who's watching tonight. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Brian.
And of
You know
course,
Brian Cohen.
Brian Cohen.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So Brian, on Tuesday, July 16th, he's going to be moderating an expert panel discussing the current and future development of Suffolk County.
Are we on it?
What buildings going on and things like that. We're not experts in that area. Why would we be on that panel?
We could host it. Oh, he's
No,
hosting
he's
it.
hosting. He's doing it. Brian's doing it.
Brian's the man.
So it's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Stony Brook. Okay, so if you can get out there, and I believe it's 7 p.m. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're watching, buddy.
Actually, why don't you call in, Brian, and tell everybody about it?
Yeah, you can call in. Give us a quick call.
631-415-1365.
Yeah,
But don't call in for 5 minutes.
Yeah, give us 5 minutes. We're gonna run to our break now, and we'll be back right after these messages. Hi, this is Darren from the Business Power Hour. Are you associated with a charity or a nonprofit organization that is looking to raise money, but you want to do something different from other charities or something you've never done before? Well, if that's the case, then you need to call our friends at Friend Entertainment USA. Friend Entertainment provides tribute concert events featuring the best tribute talent from all over the USA, saluting stars such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, Queen, and many more. Whether you like Motown, rock and roll, R&B, country, Christian, or whatever type of music you like, they will provide you with the best entertainment at a price that is very affordable. In addition to music, they are now offering comedy shows saluting such stars as Robin Williams and Joan Rivers. With over 31 years of experience, Friend Entertainment will teach you how to create a successful show. The first thing you need to do is sit down with them and learn how you and your organization can put together a show that can be done from anywhere in the USA. These events will help you bring needed funds and branding to your organization so you can continue to provide the needed services to your community. No organization is too big or too small. So reach out today. You can call or email Norman at Friend Entertainment USA and let him help your charity or nonprofit create an unforgettable fundraising experience. Call 844-698-9696. That's 844-698-9696, or visit their website at friendentusa.com and ask for the Music Man. Tell him Darren sent you. Small business owners, are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel that daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
Hi, this is Doug Cormack, Executive Director of Orchard Estate of Woodbury, Woodbury's first assisted living and memory care community. We're opening this summer for seniors who need a little or a lot of assistance with things like taking their medication, meals, or just a maintenance-free lifestyle. Our experienced staff keeps seniors and their families connected to what matters most. Call us today to inquire about our model apartments and discover how Orchard Estate of Woodbury is providing the lifestyle Long Island seniors deserve. Call 516-246-2167. That's 516-246-2167, or visit orchardestatewoodbury.com. Licensure pending.
In some way.
Welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren the Music Man.
I'm the Music Man.
And I'm Darren.
Hello.
So we're here tonight with Alan Krystal, attorney Alan Krystal. Wow, the phone is ringing.
Have a phone
what
call.
timing? Let's take that call.
Someone timed this pretty well. Good evening and welcome to the Business Power Hour. Who may I ask is calling?
It's Brian Cohen.
Hey, Brian. How are you,
Cohen.
bud?
How are you, babe?
We're just talking about you. How did you know?
I heard you give me an opening invitation there. I was like, I'd be more than happy to call in. Love what you guys are doing.
Well, we're here with Alan Krystal. You know Alan.
Hi, Brian.
Yes.
And,
Alan?
we wanted to talk. I mentioned that you're going to be leading a discussion panel, and we wanted you to call in and just talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a great opportunity it's never for everybody, but for most people. This is more business to business than business to consumer. But we're going to be talking about 3 different projects. 2 of them are currently going on. That's the expansion at the Long Island MacArthur Airport. They're always looking to bring in new flights. They're bringing more flights. Obviously, that's more people. It presents opportunities. The other one is the Ronkonkoma hub, which I really think is a major change in what's going on with the island from a housing standpoint. More people in and around that Ronkonkoma train station area. And then there's the one, what if? What if we actually did have a drag strip here and what that means? But you guys are very involved with businesses. As there is growth, it creates opportunities. And some of them we could think of. Other ones will, I think, appear. And that's the exciting part of it.
Fantastic, Brian. We're looking forward to it. Norm's going to come with headshots. He's going to autograph for everybody.
Okay, anybody who would like an
Anybody would
autograph,
like, so...
I will sign Darren's name, even though it's me. So, if you have
Brian,
a contract that you need to get signed by Darren or something.
Yeah, I told you I'm going to do my best to get down there because it's not that far from my house on Tuesday. But good luck with it, Brian. And
the best of luck.
Thanks. Yeah, so the details of this, it's on the Stony Brook campus. It's the Hilton Garden Inn. It's from 6 to 9 p.m., totally free. Just, come on down. There's going to be some, we'll do some stuff on air. I got the panel discussion at
All right,
7,
this is not
and then there's a
one hour.
cook-off,
This is-
like an Iron Chef
Business
kind of
Power
thing.
Hour.
That's going to take place from 8 to 9 o'clock. It's a bourbon and wine bar. It should just be a lot of fun, and if the weather's great, it'll be really, really terrific. So, it's right on the campus. Super easy, centrally located, and bring a boatload of business cards. This one will be a big one.
Yep, and for those of you who are watching the screen to see a picture of Brian pop up, Brian, we'll put a picture up of you, buddy. So we're going to take that off the screen now. But, hey, Brian, thanks for calling in. Tuesday, July 16th, if you can get down to the Hilton Garden Inn at Stony Brook University, see Brian. He starts speaking at 7 p.m.
And he's a great, great speaker,
He
so
is
you want to listen to him.
Yep.
All right, Brian, good night. Goodbye.
All right, Brian, thanks for calling in, buddy.
I do appreciate that. And Alan, next panel discussion. I heard that comment. We'll get you on one.
See you later.
All right, have a good one, buddy.
Bye.
All right, so now back to our guest now, who's here. Now, we were having some really great discussions about the hiring process, what people can ask. But one of the things we had a discussion with last time you were on the show, because it was last September that you were on the show.
It was right in the middle of the Kavanaugh.
Right,
hearings.
it was right in the middle of the Kavanaugh thing that was going on. And New York State just came out with a new sexual harassment law. Right, that was being enacted in October.
Harassment or sexual harassment?
Sexual harassment.
Okay.
Okay. And I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to touch base with you about that because when we first talked about it, it was so fresh with the Kavanaugh thing going on. And how is it, because if I remember right, when they first put it out, we had until January 1st to get it done, right? All these companies. And they changed the law from, it used to be if you had 4 or more people, you had to do sexual harassment training. And it could just be sit in front of a computer and do sexual harassment training. To now, it didn't matter how many employees. If you had 1 employee, you had to do sexual harassment, and it had to be interactive.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Since this has happened, was every company in New York able to get this done in time?
Well, some have. Some are still scrambling to do it.
Okay.
Hopefully, some of those who are scrambling to do it will give me a call because I certainly can help them in that regard.
At what number do they reach you?
They could call me at 780-6555. That's a 631 area code.
Mm-hmm. And that's 631-780-6555.
Correct.
Right? Or they can send you an email at?
Alan@alankrystallaw.com.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's talk about this sexual harassment for a second. It's gotten to the extreme which a lot of people are saying that they've been sexually harassed, whether they have or whether they haven't. It's become a way to make money, a way to go to court. How do you prove that you've been sexually harassed? It's one word, it's he, she, he, whatever it may be. How do you go and prove something like that on who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth?
Well, again, it's not a situation where you've got a legally sustainable burden of proof. Many times these situations are often he said, she said, or however, he said, or however. And a lot of times these are situations that really hinge upon the credibility of the person who's making the complaint and the degree of explanation of the person who's the accused and whatever background information you have. Obviously, it helps to have witnesses. Obviously, how egregious the conduct was matters as well.
You hear these stories now, right, about people filing a sexual harassment suit because a woman came in and she was dressed provocatively, and somebody made a comment about how nice they looked, and immediately it was,
Bingo.
They're hitting on me, it's sexual harassment.
And they go to HR and
they go to HR and file a complaint. Is that something that, am I making that up? Or is
No,
that
you're not
something
making
that
it up. And I think, the type of situation you described, Darren, is the kind of situation that is a very big challenge and very confounding to
Do you see a lot of cases like that?
Again, that's not really the type of case that's going to be litigated unless something like that results in something getting fired. I would assume, and you never should assume, but in a case like that, if you have a remark like that, that's not usually a fireable offense. It's something that you may want to counsel the employee, don't do that again.
Right.
But I think if somebody's wearing a certain item of attire and somebody remarks on that, assuming that it's really not off the rails in terms of the nature of the comment, that's not generally a fireable offense. That's something you're going to have to caution the
Forget
employer.
fireable, but if I go down to HR and make a complaint, I'm opening up the door to create a possible lawsuit down the road because he said this to me or she said this to him, or I complimented her on a new haircut, and then I'm next thing I know I'm in HR department.
Let me ask you it this way. With the companies that you work with, how common is that type of situation where women or even men go in and complain and start building a case, so to speak, for things like, you look very nice today, or I like your haircut, or, I mean, because all of those things can be construed,
In
right?
my experience,
Yes.
not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Not at all, because I think within an organization, I think you have a certain degree of culture, and I think people who know each other very well and they work together very well, I think there is a certain tolerance level for certain types of remarks, and I think something like that, that's most of the time relatively innocuous, is something that usually isn't going to rise to that level. I think the more common type of situation that really rises is something that might be a little bit more of overt in nature.
Can you explain a case or two without names or anything else that you've experienced fairly recently or such?
Well, sure. I mean, on the harassment, I had a situation where I was defending a business where one employee said to the other employee, they asked if she had a boyfriend, asked if she was seeing anybody, asked her what type of sex toy she likes to use.
Uh-oh.
Well, okay.
So,
He was good for the first two questions.
Yeah, I think the first two were
okay.
harmless questions.
right, but then he raised the ante a little bit, and that's where it got a little bit uncomfortable.
What kind of toy did she like? I'm kidding.
Come on, he always goes there.
Norman, I settled the case before deposition, so I did not get to make that inquiry.
Should have waited a little while. Would have made a good movie. Okay.
The movie, what kind of sex toy does he like?
Next question.
Next question is right.
This is cable.
So, well, it is cable.
Yes.
No, it's not cable. It's
Podcast.
the internet. So,
Yes, okay,
but that's
same
beside
difference.
the point. But we run a clean show here, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. We're going to do sexual harassment. You're going to do it for us, right? So you can actually, you'll go in, because now New York State requires you to do interactive sexual harassment training, which basically means you don't throw somebody in front of a computer and show them a video and just say that's it.
No, what you do
Right.
in those presentations is you talk about the law, you talk about what sexual harassment is, you give examples of sexual harassment, you give case studies of sexual harassment in terms of what happens in a particular situation, and you seek out feedback from the employees as to whether or not they consider it sexual harassment or whether they don't consider it sexual harassment.
Do you do these seminars?
Yes.
So people can get in touch with you if they know they have to get this done.
Right.
They haven't done it yet. How long does the training take?
Well, let me just take a step back if you don't mind my
Sure.
doing so. I mean, anybody can do this training. I mean, I don't have to do this training, but my feeling is that because I'm somebody from the outside and because I've dealt with these situations in real life scenario, and because I have the benefit of certain experiences, I feel that I could provide a more educational and worthwhile experience. But you could do it, a company, if they have an HR professional or an HR director can do it. Sometimes payroll companies have people who come in and do
It's
it.
in your employment manual too, isn't it?
Right, and that's another aspect of it. You do have to definitely have a policy. You not only have to have a policy that describes what happens, let me take a step back, a policy that describes what sexual harassment is, but it also has to have a protocol in terms of who you go to and how those cases are
And
investigated.
New York State's kind of outlined that in the new law,
Absolutely.
right?
Exactly.
As to what you're supposed to have and what you're not supposed to have. And as of October, you guys should have been updating all your personnel manuals. And if you don't have a personnel manual, you need to get in touch with your professionals.
Exactly.
And
You need
someone
one.
like Alan and
Right.
get a personnel manual.
And again,
Do you write personnel manuals?
Yes, I do write handbooks, and it's something that would
Well,
be
okay.
included within the context of an employee handbook.
So you're like the man when it comes to this kind of stuff. So people should reach you at 631-780-6555. Sorry.
No, they shouldn't reach me there, but
780-6555.
somebody else.
Let's start
There's a
again.
glare on that screen.
631-780-6555, or you can email Alan at alan@alankrystal.com. It's all up there on the screen right behind Alan, so you can
Yeah,
grab
but
all
I
that
had a
information.
glare. I apologize. for
Yeah,
that.
actually, you can see it pretty good on the screen. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, you're looking at it.
I'm looking at it now, so we're looking good. We're looking good. I want to just give a quick shout out to my cousin Anthony out in Wyoming. He's watching tonight. So
Anthony, thanks for
Anthony
for
Randall.
tuning in.
Anthony Randall.
Is Eileen
Out
on
there.
tonight?
Eileen's on, yep.
Yeah, hi,
Hi
Eileen.
Eileen. I shouted out to her.
You know
on
Eileen
that, so.
Karina?
I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting her.
And it
Name's
would be
familiar.
a pleasure. She is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful
Yeah,
lady.
she watches every one
week.
of our shows. She watches it more than Brian does, and Brian watches it almost every
Eileen
week.
has a not-for-profit organization called Pulse, and it's patient advocacy, and she's like nationally known. She's a great lady. It's my girl.
That's your girl, that's for sure. All right, Alan, let's get back to the case at hand here. So, what is the most? Now, you know, you had the case where it was, you asked if they were single, if you know what their relationship status was. But Jim, I got that question too, didn't I? And I could. Oh no, that's a different.
You don't want to go there.
What is the? Did you ever handle a case where it was a woman being sexually inappropriate with a man?
I've heard of those cases. I have not handled that personally.
Okay.
Obviously, that can occur, but you know, most of the time, it is the other way around. And you know, that inappropriate and what is inappropriate really is the question.
Right. Well, that's my next question is what is really inappropriate? Like we were talking about before, culture sometimes will dictate what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. But you can get somebody where they're new to the culture, and to them, what the culture believes is appropriate isn't necessarily appropriate for them. Do you see those cases coming up?
Well, really, the standard is if that remark made a person feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, you gave culture as one example, but I mean, the differences could be generational. The differences could be just a matter of personality.
Does it have to be sexual intent to violate the law?
No. I mean,
Okay.
you know, you could have, and you know, this has happened, and I know of this in my experience. I haven't handled it as an attorney, but I've seen it, where somebody would tell a joke. Now, telling a sexual joke doesn't have a sexual intent,
Right.
but it does have the potential of
Now,
offending somebody.
Could it be, you know, like when we were kids, right? We had Polish jokes, Italian jokes, you know, making fun of different ethnicities. Could that be considered something that could be offensive under this law?
I'm not sure under that. I mean, it is obviously.
why wouldn't it be?
I mean, it's well. I mean, again, I mean, it is workplace training. So workplace training does encompass a number of situations. So I mean, you know, race would certainly fall into that. And also remember, I mean, if your handbook is written right, it's going to have policies towards discrimination as well.
How many different types of harassment are there? What
Countless.
constitutes? I mean, if you look up, you know, in the dictionary, the word of harassment, and you relate it to life, what do you go to court on?
Well, as I said before, harassment could be anything that within the person who's the object of the comment or the act is something that creates a feeling of great discomfort, a great distress. It could be a number of things. It could be an act. It could be a word. It could be a joke. It could be a gesture. And, you know, the minefield that we're in now is, you know, what's the code? What's the culture? What's the language? Because what's offensive to you might not be offensive to Darren. What's offensive to your female coworker might not be offensive to another female coworker. And that's really, you know, the quagmire that exists in the business world.
Is there insurance if I'm a company and I get sued, my company, even though it had nothing to do with me, but it was my company, and I get sued, is it errors and omissions?
Employer's liability insurance.
Employer's
and that is
liability,
something
okay.
that I would highly recommend any company that has employees to get, because again, this is a situation, and I think anybody who's listening to this discussion realizes that it could happen to anyone.
And that's something we're going to get into when we get back from our break. But
He's
first,
big on breaks.
Big on breaks. You know, I told
the
you this is
break
going to
man.
fly by. We're into our second break already. But before we go to break, our friend John from Hazlitt is watching. John, after the break, call in, because we want to ask you a couple of questions about, you know, the great
About
job
your
that your
graffiti.
company did for the parade today. We got a couple of questions for you. So after the break, John, give us a call. But before we do that, we want to talk about our friends over at Big Frog. Big Frog does our banners, does our
Ribbit.
T-shirts. They do pretty
Ribbit.
much everything for us.
Ribbit.
We want to thank them. Big Frog over in
Ribbit,
Seldom. Get in touch with Debbie, okay, and Roland over there. Tell them that Darren and the Music Man gave you a call. Told you to call. And get
And you
all
want
your
the
stuff.
special deal.
Right. You want the Business Power Hour deal. That's what you want.
On whatever you hire, whatever you buy. I'm in this hiring thing.
You're in the hiring thing right now. So we'll be back right after these messages. Hi, this is Darren from the Business Power Hour. Are you associated with a charity or a nonprofit organization that is looking to raise money, but you want to do something different from other charities or something you've never done before? Well, if that's the case, then you need to call our friends at Friend Entertainment USA. Friend Entertainment provides tribute concert events featuring the best tribute talent from all over the USA, saluting stars such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, Queen, and many more. Whether you like Motown, rock and roll, R&B, country, Christian, or whatever type of music you like, they will provide you with the best entertainment at a price that is very affordable. In addition to music, they are now offering comedy shows saluting such stars as Robin Williams and Joan Rivers. With over 31 years of experience, Friend Entertainment will teach you how to create a successful show. The first thing you need to do is sit down with them and learn how you and your organization can put together a show that can be done from anywhere in the USA. These events will help you bring needed funds and branding to your organization, so you can continue to provide the needed services to your community. No organization is too big or too small. So reach out today. You can call or email Norman at Friend Entertainment USA and let him help your charity or nonprofit create an unforgettable fundraising experience. Call 844-698-9696. That's 844-698-9696, or visit their website at friendentusa.com and ask for the Music Man. Tell him Darren sent you. Small business owners, are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel like daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
Hi, this is Doug Cormack, Executive Director of Orchard Estate of Woodbury, Woodbury's first assisted living and memory care community. We're opening this summer for seniors who need a little or a lot of assistance with things like taking their medication, meals, or just a maintenance-free lifestyle. Our experienced staff keeps seniors and their families connected to what matters most. Call us today to inquire about our model apartments and discover how Orchard Estate of Woodbury is providing the lifestyle Long Island seniors deserve. Call 516-246-2167. That's 516-246-2167, or visit orchardestatewoodbury.com. Licensure pending.
And welcome back to the Business Power Hour with the Music Man and the Music Man. Oh, Darren,
Music,
I'm sorry,
music getting tired? You had a long day
Yeah,
today?
it's been a long week.
Hey,
and
John.
It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, John from Hazlitt, 631-415-1365. I got to get him a cough button, Jim. What do you think?
A cough button would be a good idea.
Because every show he coughs a couple of times.
Actually, water would be nice.
So, John, give us a call. We want to talk to you about all the great confetti you put in.
He's not going to call on purpose now.
No, he says, he goes, I'm screwed if he calls in. That's what he said.
Is it?
But, John, we want to
so
talk to you.
Then I'll
Give
have
us
to
a
find
call.
him a new job.
That's it.
That's it. But that would be cool. Anyway, so let's go back
Alan,
for a second.
We apologize. We digress.
We do that a lot.
We do digress. But, okay, so we were talking about the differences and different things that were going on. Now, in the news, not in this, pretty recent with everything that's going on, is Uncle Joe Biden, right? And the touchy-feely way he goes about greeting
old
people,
school.
right? Could that be construed as harassment?
Absolutely, because I think the assumption when people who are really not educated in the area of harassment, I think the assumption is they think of Harvey Weinstein, that
Right.
the most overt type of stuff. But,
Oh, I had a big comparison
no,
between
I know
Joe
that,
Biden and Weinstein.
No, and I'm not drawing a comparison, but I think, when people talk about harassment, I think, the first association is, the overt stuff where, the quid pro quo, where there's an expectation of sexual activity. But to go back to the Joe Biden situation, that was a situation where there was a number of instances where women came forth and said that he touched them.
Their space.
He was in their space and he touched them, either touched their shoulder or touched noses.
But he didn't just do that with women. He does it with guys too because he's Uncle Joe.
But the complainants were women.
Yeah.
And, what was interesting about those, I don't want to call them cases, but those incidents were...
Encounters.
All of the women, all of the women freely admitted that what Mr. Biden did wasn't sexual in nature, but it nevertheless felt.
But why say something?
Because it made them uncomfortable.
No, but why say? I mean,
But
you could say something to him. Why are you telling the world something that didn't really bother you?
Maybe somebody did say something to him and he didn't. He kind of poo-pooed it. It was like, it's no big deal. What are you getting so upset about?
When Alan just said that they said it wasn't sexual, but you were in there.
But it made him uncomfortable.
So say something to him. You got to tell the world.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know if they said something to him and he just
you don't
ignored
know
them.
But
right?
you know something that should be discussed, and this is a very, very, very hot topic, and it was huge today. Epstein. All right. Now you're an attorney, and he's accused of sexual harassment, of prostitution,
He's
of getting
accused
with kids
minors,
and whatever. This thing took place, I guess, in Florida, where the court thing that he had going to jail for 13 months. You're an attorney. What's your opinion on this?
Epstein?
Yeah.
Well,
The case.
Well, let's put it this way. They are accusations. So as an attorney, I have to say that these have to be proven.
But he was found guilty. He was sentenced to jail. Now, was that...
Well, he was... right, but in terms of these latest allegations...
Okay.
They still have to be proven. I mean, if they are proven, then this man should never see the light of day again. I think, those allegations are
horrible.
Absolutely, they're grotesque. And if it's proven, then, he should be punished accordingly. And if anybody was mixed up with him and engaged in that type of activity, they should also face extreme consequences.
His recruiters.
Whoever was involved.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying it was tons and tons of people. I mean,
Yes.
the guy was a very wealthy guy. And look...
And nobody knows what he did for a living.
But he did everything behind closed doors.
He was a
didn't do
financier.
anything. Right.
Whatever
that means, right? So, you get situations like, again, going back to the comparison of Epstein and Joe Biden. Joe Biden's more in your face, getting close. He's a close talker or whatever.
And Epstein's getting in you.
That would make me feel uncomfortable, I think, to a point. I mean, you see some of the videos where you see even Hillary Clinton trying to pull away and he wasn't letting her pull away. You know, and it wasn't like, I think he was trying to just talk to her.
What are you talking in terms of whom in Clinton? I'm sorry.
Biden, Joe Biden,
Clinton.
right? And, you know, so you don't know. And I think what it comes down to, and correct me if I'm wrong, what the law is about is how uncomfortable it made you.
Exactly.
And if it makes you uncomfortable, then it's a violation.
All right, let me go back a little bit to the Joe Biden example, because you know how it got out. Well, you know, it's politics.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part
absolutely.
of it.
That's a big part.
I mean, I think one of the people who complained was found out to be a Bernie Sanders supporter. So I think you know that had a role in it. But let's take Joe Biden, and instead of putting him out on the campaign trail, let's put him in somebody's office. As I said, what he did, a single instance of it, is that a fireable offense? No. I think it's something you talk to him about. Maybe you need to write him up about it.
Right. It's
I
gotta
mean,
be
I think if it
re-educated.
happens again and again and again, and you have a pattern of making women feel uncomfortable, I think that's an issue.
So you just brought up a point, right, that I want to touch on. How do you go about documenting, or even, you know this is going on, you need to get rid of this employee? Is it as simple as saying you're fired because you're doing this?
Well, you can't. Well, again, it all
Gotta
depends on the
document
end.
it.
There's a number of facets to that question, Darren. First of all, it all depends how egregious the behavior is. I mean, if it was something more egregious than what we've been talking about, certain forms of egregious behavior, maybe things more on the Harvey
I'm
Weinstein.
talking more on the Joe Biden.
All right, more on
type
the Joe
stuff.
Biden's. I think what you do is is that HR would talk to this person, explain what he did, explain how it's not desirable according to company policy, explain that he did create discomfort, and basically suggest a course correction in terms of.
Now, would it be prudent for the company to document that this conversation
have to document it.
happened with him?
Absolutely, because
Okay.
you're going to need that. I mean, because if the situation were to escalate,
They get a warning.
Right. Well, it could be a warning, but you're
And
still
it's
going
usually
to.
90 days.
But it could be it could be a verbal warning. Now, if you're going to have a verbal warning, you're still going to internally document.
Absolutely.
You might not have anybody sign something, but you're going to have that documented. And if it's something either a little bit more serious or something that recurs, then you may want to have a written warning.
So my next question is, if you're an HR person or you're a boss that has to do this, should you do it one-on-one behind closed doors?
Yes.
Or should you have somebody there to witness the conversation? So if, because then he goes, well, no, we went into that room and had a conference about this. We didn't have
No, they
talk
usually
about that.
make the employees sign a piece of
Well,
paper
no,
that they had this.
he just said you can have it verbal. If you do
I mean,
it
if it's
verbal,
But she just still documents it.
Right, but it would still be documented, or he would have it documented
Right.
internally.
right.
I think whether you have the witness all depends upon what you're doing and how serious the conversation is. I mean, if it's a situation where you're terminating somebody, I think it's always good to have a witness in the room just to document what happened. If you're simply talking to somebody, hey, look, you did something that wasn't very appropriate, don't do it again. I don't see that as requiring a witness. I mean, it's a judgment call, but if you're asking me my opinion, I would say that it's not indicated.
You haven't seen any cases where that, not having a witness didn't adversely affect the employer.
Well, again, you also comes down to, of course, what was said. And I mean, if there's conflicting accounts of what was said, obviously having a witness is important. That's why I said earlier, if it's a situation where you know that this is going down the road where you're going to terminate somebody, it's probably prudent to have somebody in the room there.
Right. Okay.
So we're getting close to time, and I know there's something else that you want to talk about. But tell everybody how to get in hold with you.
Well, obviously, Alan, you're very knowledgeable in this.
We got to continue this another time.
Companies absolutely, because we're coming up on the deadline, right? They moved it to October.
It's October 9th.
October 9th, they have until they get this stuff done.
That's 2 months.
So if you
2
haven't
months
done
and
it
change.
yet, get in touch with Alan today, and you can reach Alan at 631-780-6555. Also, Alan at alankrystallaw.com. His website, alankrystallaw.com. You can go to, you can see all the different things. And, get in touch with him today, because this is the guy that you need to help you with this type of stuff.
And tell him that you heard about him on the
The business power. There we go. Man, you were like, I don't know, Jim. What did you put in this coffee? Oh wait, you didn't give me.
I didn't get any coffee.
You
I got no water. Got no water.
John, call in, buddy.
John's not calling in.
John's not calling. He's chicken.
You have a big time event that's coming
Well,
up. That's
outside of your law practice, you do some other things, right?
Well, I don't practice law 24 hours a day. If
Right.
you tell me that.
And that's the big event we're talking about. I'm trying to lead into the big event.
I already let in.
Well, he's
Okay.
he's
Well, it's not.
involved in certain charities.
Let me. Okay. Well, it's not my event, but it's an event that I've
But you're
participated in. But I've gotten more involved in it. It is on August 19th. It's at Bethpage Golf Course. It is the Chris McNamara 10th annual golf outing. It benefits veterans, organizations like Paws of War, Wounded Warriors, Tunnels to Towers. This is his 10th year. Chris is a veteran. He was a veteran of
He's in the Air
Desert
Force,
Storm.
wasn't he?
Yes,
Chris was in the Air
vet,
Force. Chris was on the show.
Desert Storm,
We've had
Chris
Chris on the
has
show.
dedicated a good part of his life towards veterans causes, and he's had this tournament, which each year has gotten bigger and bigger, and it's a great day of golf. But more importantly, it's for a worthy cause. And not only in the past, not only has he worked to raise money for the organizations, he's also done work. He's also raised money for individual veterans. And I will tell you, when you see these veterans come to these outings and what they've been through and the impact that this help can have on their life, it is extremely moving. And what these people do should be recognized and it should be rewarded.
Absolutely.
Chris does a great job with that. Like I said, Chris has been on the show. He's a friend of the show. And if you want to get involved in this great effort that Chris puts on and Alan's now very involved in, reach out to Chris at 631-484-4404. That's 631-484-4404. Reach out to them. If you can't golf on the 19th, you want to just make a donation, Chris will be more than happy to do that.
Or you can just go for dinner,
And
too.
there is
Or
a
you can
dinner.
go for dinner.
There is
Yep.
a dinner. So if you're not a golfer, if you want to go to the dinner, it's a great experience. There are some good people there. A lot of fun. And
There's a lot of raffles, too. And if you have
Absolutely.
something
Yeah.
that you'd like to
Absolutely.
raffle off, maybe there's a car dealer out there and you'd like to raffle off a car lease to a vet, for a couple of years, they would be forever grateful, for doing that. On a smaller scale, we donate tickets, to his cause, and they raffle them off. Every year we do this for them.
So, is there Alan, you got anything else going on?
just going out there, making a living,
That's
trying to enjoy life.
How's that working out for you?
I do my best.
There you go.
That's all we can do, right?
You have a son that's a chef, right?
I have a son who, yes, he's starting a career as a chef. He's
Good
very
luck to
I know
him.
you're
passionate
very, very proud of him and the stuff that he's done.
It's always good to find your passion in life, and I think it's very fortunate that he found that passion. And
Is he finished with culinary school?
he's done with school. He's working full time,
Okay.
and he loves it. He works very, very hard.
Locally?
Yes, locally.
You want to give a plug for the restaurant?
Well, actually, he's not in a restaurant. He works
Okay.
for Uncle Giuseppe's in Melville, so
Okay.
he does a lot
Really?
of catering. And
All right.
that's a very they have
He's in the new one in the Melville.
the new one in Melville, and he's doing a really good job there, and he's working very hard, and we're very proud of him.
Good stuff.
Good
And
stuff.
one
That's
day
very
Dad will buy him a restaurant. What do you think?
We'll have to have that
We'll
discussion.
have that discussion. I'm trying for you, bud. I'm trying for you.
All right.
You always, wait, we got a phone call out before the show
Okay.
ends.
Good evening. Welcome to the Business Pal Hour. Who may I ask is calling?
Yeah, did you just call me a chicken?
I called you a chicken. I did call you a
You
chicken.
called me a chicken.
I called you a chicken. But hey, wait. We wanted to congratulate your boss on letting you get on TV so you can take all the credit for putting out all that shredded paper. So,
Well, it's not paper. It's friggin' paper.
it's friggin' paper.
It's friggin' paper. That's what it is. It's just friggin' paper. That's all it is.
What a way to end the show.
what a way to end the
What a
show.
way to end
Hey,
the
John,
show.
we wanted to. No, seriously though.
That was really great
That
stuff.
was really cool stuff that you guys did. I know you guys do it for all the parades down there, and we really appreciate that. And this year when the Yankees are going through the Canyon of Heroes, I'm sure you guys are going to provide the paper for that too, right, buddy?
Yeah, I can't wait to shred down. Let's go, Mets! Shredded up paper all over their head.
Well, we can't wait to have you down there.
I would tell you
all
other
the
things,
Yankees.
but I really don't want to curse. Yeah,
Hey, John, listen to me. If the Yankees win, you and I are going to go to that parade together.
listen, we already donated once to the Yankee parade.
You are, yeah, but you're going to do it again, right? Just like
No,
you did. And this time you
they'll
and I are
never
going to
win
go.
before the Mets. Don't worry about it.
No, you and I are going to go.
Well, right now you and I are going to go.
Yeah, we're going, but John's going to come with us. And John's going to wear his
we're
business.
going
You
now.
may have to bring that attorney with you.
We're going to need an attorney if we all go.
All right,
I
buddy.
think so.
Hey, thanks for calling in, John. We love you.
Thanks, John.
And
Have a good
Darren,
night.
listen, God bless the
let's go
United States of
Yankees.
America. That's all I got to say.
Let's go,
And you
Yankees.
gotta back this president, no matter how bad you don't like him. Too bad. You gotta back the United States. That's what it's
Goodbye,
about.
John. So, yeah, that was John. He provided all the actually,
shredded-
his company provided all the.
And he took all the
credit.
So what do you got going on this week?
I got, you know what? Actually, it's been a quiet week. Just want to remind everybody, or not remind everybody, let everybody know that in 2 weeks, we're not going to be on Wednesday night. We're going to be on Monday night. We're going to be on July 22nd instead of July 24th. There's a situation going on at the station, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to broadcast that night. But we will broadcast on that Monday. But next week we'll remind you guys of that. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in every week. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, we thank you very, very much.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough.
We don't make it
for
without
the
you
support
guys.
that we get. Really. So we want to thank again Alan for being on the show. And you got anything going on?
Got a possibility, a really good possibility of doing the entertainment for a semi-pro women's basketball league. And now with the soccer team, the USA soccer team, women's soccer team, this could be a really, really big thing. So we met last week, and meeting went great. And actually, they're going to be on our show on September 9th. And their league starts
And guys,
in November.
September 9th is our first Monday night show. We're going to start doing Monday nights because we're booked up always.
We're sold out.
Sold out for the rest
on
of the year.
Wednesdays.
So
Because of you guys.
Because of you guys, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we do. So we thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. And thank you again.
And everybody be safe. Have a good week, everybody.
Have a great week. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
That all dead, the lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clear. Lord, I shed all my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on. Security, this newfound freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded gun. This outbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded gun. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind clear. Lord, I